Alright guys, hopefully this may be the last segment for this particular document. Let's unzoom this just a little bit, maybe about right there. That looks good. And I mean, this is a little blurry, but I've got plenty other ones. I've got, I think I said I've got something like 91 real documents from the Truman library. And they all range from the year 1945 to the year 1959. The reason that I want to use this one is because it's dated September 29th, 1947. Supposedly, this document is September 24th, 1947. We're talking just days apart. The thing that caught my eye with this document, and I don't know if you'll be able to see it because again, the quality that you see here is a little bit less than the quality that I can see in real time as I'm looking at this. When I recorded it, I lose a little bit of quality. This is very straight. Very straight, the bottom. There's no roundness to it. The A is just cut off, the E is kind of cut off. It's just straight. And I don't see that with this. Again, it's kind of blurry, and maybe we can see it better there. You can see the R is kind of dipped down a little bit. The A has a little bit more roundedness to it, especially Roosevelt. It looks like R-O-O, and then Zavelt is kind of off-centered a little bit. The only explanation I can think of for this document here is that the ink in the typewriter may have been dry. But most of the time, if that were to happen, I believe the ink would just come out a lighter black. I could be wrong. Like I said, I'm not an expert with typewriter. I'm just trying to be reasonable. And they could have smashed a few keys right here, not typed a few keys. And then finally, when the ink started warming itself up, it doesn't really, I'm just trying to use basic terms here, but when the ink started getting its kind of fluidity back, then it looks like it starts to round out. Forrestal doesn't look. See the E? It's got its roundness. The S, it's got its roundness back. The E over here is like cut off. The E again here is cut off. This E and this E and this E look the same, basically, as far as the bottom. And this E, you can tell, is completely rounded. Same with the S. And this S is kind of just cut off. It's not round, it's just cut off. In my world, at least nowadays with all the digital stuff, sometimes this can happen when, if I were to take this and delete something or copy and paste it, it would cut the lines. But it's a possibility. But you have the Y here that dips down. It's possible that they could have stopped there, but I don't know. It just doesn't really make any sense to do that. So I've just noticed it's another flaw that I'm gonna say it's a flaw. I don't know. If you guys can show me something else, then perfect. But it is kind of straight there, and I don't really know why. Why this is a completely different font, I don't know. I mean, yes, it is all caps, but this S here compared to this S is different, in my opinion. This one kind of goes up a little bit, has a little spike that goes up. It's real blotchy at the end here, and this one is not. These are all in capital letters, so yes, they are going to be different than this, but it looks like it looks like a narrow font. Looks like it's narrow. For that to happen, he would have had to probably used one typewriter for this and a completely different typewriter for the rest of this. This here, I mean, he could have typed all of this at the same time, the date and the main body, and then he could have, when he was done, slapped this in a different typewriter and did that. But I mean, I don't know. If any of you guys are experts with typewriters and stuff, I mean, please fill me in. The thing I'm not trying to do is trying to say I know everything. I'm just taking an open look at this, and I'm just going to tell you what I see, flat out. So, the White House right here, with the Washington off-centered, that's normal. It's consistent with this. The only difference is this is like left justified, and this one is completely center, which I clarified before. It's okay. It doesn't mean that the document is fraudulent. They had documents like this. As far as this, this would probably be the first time that the earliest time that I have seen this top secret eyes only, and whatever A-8 is, I don't know. When he begins a new sentence, everything is double spaced, and it's double spaced here. So the punctuation and everything looks authentic. And the only other thing that catches my mind is the commas. It's about as far as I'm going to zoom. I'm not going to zoom in any more than that. The comma is just kind of like a blotch, very similar to this period. This period is different than this period, which is pros and cons. It tells me that this probably was not a computer font that did this. It could have been a typewriter. They could have done this document on a typewriter if it is fake. But you see the comma, it's just a blotch. See if we can find another one. That looks like a comma to me. It's a blotch. Any more? I don't see any more. I don't see any more. Okay, now keep in mind this is just days apart. September 29th and whatever this is, September 24th. Just a couple days apart. You can clearly see that the comma on this one has a very distinct circle and then a tail. Again, right here, very distinct circle and a tail. Once again, circle and a tail. You can see it over and over and over again. And this one isn't anywhere close to that. It's just like a smudge. So, anyhow, we don't have that much time. This will be the last part for this episode. We may go back and talk about this later, but we've definitely took some time and have looked at this document. This document definitely has a lot of flaws in it. There are some very good similarities. However, the font that is used on this may have been different from here. It is very similar. I've got to do some more comparison, guys. So when I do that, I will get back to you. Until then, don't believe everything that you hear. You know, I'm taking the time to do all this, and so I hope that it keeps you guys interested in it. So definitely a hobby for me. So again, I'm going to be having some interviews coming up. We haven't got an exact date or time yet, but we're going to be talking about some ghost stuff, and we got some good stuff coming up. So you guys just stay tuned, and we will see you soon. Please feel free to rate. Please feel free to give me a message if you have anything that you would like to share. Maybe you think that I left something out. It's no problem. I'm not trying to hide anything. I'm not trying to convince anybody that it's fake or real. We're just taking an open, honest approach to this stuff. So take care, guys.